Hey, family, what's going on? It's your chief visionary, Natasha Davis, and it is that time of the week. It is time for a day in the life of business. It's the real biz life. That's right, guys. Come on in because we are going inside of the business lab today, and it is going to be amazing. You are going to enjoy this particular topic. I promised you guys that I would be bringing in some subject matter experts throughout the year. And we have one of our first guests for the top of the year, and you're going to absolutely love her. You're going to love what she has to say. For those who are just coming to the show for the first time, this is a live show. Anything can happen. It's nothing edited, things pop out my mouth. But this is a live show where we get to dissect the good, the bad, and the strategy around business. And I enjoy transferring this knowledge to you so that you can lift the lid off your thinking. You can begin to think about the possibilities, explore more possibilities, really look at how you can grow and how you can improve your company and you can improve as a business owner. I am honored to serve businesses and companies for over 15, 16 years. I get to help them to develop structure, strategy, and scale that they're looking for. And here inside the business lab, I'm giving you tools and I'm giving you techniques and I'm giving you the knowledge that you need to achieve what? Economies of scale. That's what it's all about, right? And so this year, that's our heavy focus, right? We're going to dive into it. I'm peeling the layers back for you and getting ready to just give you everything that you need. Well, I'm not giving you everything you need. If you need everything, you need to come on into the Chief Visionary, okay? All right, so listen, you know that if you pop something in the chat room or in the comment section, I will chat back with you. So if you have a question or comment, pop that in there. Thank you for being here. We are live on Facebook, LinkedIn, and on YouTube. Instagram family, I go ahead and repurpose it there, but you can watch us right on YouTube as well. And so listen, I want you to make sure that you have your notebooks, you have a pen, you open up a note section because this is going to be beast mode today. Yes, indeed. All right. So first of all, how has your week been? Did you take any of the golden nuggets from last episode and start applying them? Because my main thing is I want you to think big. I want you to build momentum and I want you to what? Scale fast. So did you take any of your golden nuggets from last week and start to implement them? Let me know how that's been for you. Okay. And you know that I really want you to mobilize your goals. I want you to achieve scale this year. So if you're not sure what you need and if you're ready to move, just go ahead and get on-demand support from ibcacademyonline.com. Just go to ibcacademyonline.com and get the tools that you need, get the support that you need. You don't have to do this alone, okay? You really don't have to do this alone. There's no reason to do it alone. Support is available for you. Resources are available to you, so don't do it alone. All right, so you know what time it is. It's time to go into the business lab, but first and foremost, don't be stingy. Don't let anyone be tardy for this party, okay? Tell someone to come and join us. You can tag them in the show. You can text them. You can call them and tell them, y'all get on. The Chief Visionary is live and she has a guest. We're about to drop some serious golden nuggets here today, okay? All right, so listen, we are going to make sure that you have everything that you need today. So I want you to feel very comfortable with any questions that you have. I want you to feel comfortable with any ideas you have. The opportunities and the possibilities are endless. They're endless, okay? All right, so we have our special guest, and our special guest is going to help us to unpack, dissect government contracting. I absolutely love this woman. This woman came into my life. Oh gosh, I don't know. I have to find out, ask her. It's been a little bit, like maybe 4 years or 5 years or so, but she popped into my world. And then I sucked onto her like a cow on a tick's tail, honey. I'm just trying to tell you. I told her we together. We are together, okay? She's like, you can't shake me. We are together. And so I just want to share a little bit of her with you because she has definitely been a benefit to me. She's been a blessing to me. And she's also helped me to experience government contracting and from a different perspective, to see things with new open eyes, okay? So I want you to get ready, join me in welcoming our guest. I'm gonna bring her in, Miss Varetta Huggins. How are you? How are you?
Natasha, I am fantabulous. Thanks for having me on. I'm so glad to be here.
Awesome, awesome. I'm so happy that you were able to be here with us and just be able to share your knowledge, just a wealth of knowledge. You just have this big, beautiful heart and just willing spirit. You're constantly just opening your mind, opening your heart to give. One of the things I love most about you is that you have no shade. Like you really want to help. You know how sometimes you come across people and they're like, "Well, I'm going to give you a little bit." But I'm gonna leave you so thirsty that you can't figure it out. Like you fill my cup. You are filling cups, I'm telling you. So definitely a blessing. So tell the audience, who is Varetta Huggins? Tell us a little bit about your company and how did you get into government contracting?
Awesome. Okay, I will. Varetta Huggins, my company is V Project Management Consulting, and we provide enterprise project program and portfolio management services to government clients. For our small business clients, we help them navigate government contracting, and that's one of the reasons why Natasha have me here today. I am an island girl. I was at an 8-day conference this week, and I met a guy I had met 2 years ago in Norfolk, Virginia, for a Navy conference, and he was trying to remember who I was, and he's originally from St. Thomas, and he's like, "Oh, I remember you, Island Girl." And so that's my new nickname this week. I'm Island Girl. Originally from the island of St. Kitts,
I love
and
St. Kitts. Love it.
when I left St. Kitts, I went straight to Hampton University to study computer science. And right after graduating, my first job was working for a government contracting company, one of the big firms, SEIC, at NASA Langley Research Center in Hampton, Virginia. So that was how I got introduced into government contracting. I was an information engineer and computer scientist at that time, and then moved to different agencies from there. Worked at National Weather Service in Silver Spring, Maryland. Moved down to Washington, D.C., worked at Federal Aviation Administration. And then from there, I started my own company around that time in 2009, V Project Management Consulting. And we've been working with U.S. Department of Agriculture, FAA, Department of Education, USAID, and most recently, Department of Defense. We've got a contract there at the Pentagon.
I love it. I love it. So there you have it, guys. So you have a little idea of who this woman is, but we are going to get into it because we want to go behind the scenes. We want to go behind the scenes with government contracting. A lot of times people don't really tell you who, like what you should be doing, what you should not be doing. You hear about government contracting, right? So let's talk to the person who is thinking about it, who's heard about it. They've never really gotten into it, but they're interested in it. Let's navigate the world of government contracting from the person who is not even started yet. What are some things they need to know about government contracting, and what are the possibilities for them? Can any business, product, or service offer to the government? Let's touch base on that too, because I would imagine somebody might be thinking, oh, they don't buy what I have, that's not for me, right? So let's talk about that real quick.
Sure. The US government buys any and everything as long as it's legal, of course.
Let's
And
put that
in
caveat.
every country, they're the world's number one buyer of goods and services. Did you hear me, folks? I said
Yeah.
the world. They're in every country out there and they're looking for goods and services. Think wherever the military goes, they have to set up a house, right? They've got to set up those bases and they need everything that you have in your house. But they can only buy it through government contractors. And
Mm.
that's where any and anything that you're selling, and again, as long as it's legal, government's looking for that.
I love that. I love that. So for anyone who's thinking, "Oh, I don't think I can do this." No, if you're selling some form of a legal product or a legal service, it's absolutely available to you. So first of all, let's lift the lid on your thinking with that. The opportunity is there for you. So let's talk a little bit about, so the person who says, okay, I'm interested in, what should that person who's interested in exploring this, what are some things they need to be doing to get their company ready to do business with the government? What are some things they need to do?
Awesome question. Well, just think of it this way. The government wants to do business with your company. Is your company set up? So start there first is what I would say. Make sure you have that what I call an EIN, your entity identification number already set up. Some people call it your tax ID for
Mhm.
the company, right? So it's the
Yeah,
company that you're setting up. Once you have that set up, make sure you have a business bank account that's associated with that company, and that's going to also help you when you start working on your business financials, your profit and loss, your balance sheet. Those are needed. And then how are you marketing your company? So think about, do you have a website for your company? Because the government is going to want to check you out, find out what it is that you're selling.
right,
And then the other part of that with any business is just making sure that you're in compliance with any tax laws. So you're filing your business tax returns, right? And so
right,
from a business perspective, it's that part, making sure you have a legal business that's already set up to do business with the government. Now, when you move over to say, hey, Varetta, hey, Natasha, I want to be a government contractor. So there's
right.
another layer, another phase of that. So now you have your business set up. Your next phase is to be able to go and get your unique entity ID, and you find this on sam.gov,
Mm-hmm.
and get a cage code. So
Right,
the cage code is that 5 character ID that allows you to do business directly with the government. And then once you have that, if you realize that, hey, I certify, I'm a woman, my business is a woman, I'm veteran, those are things that you can get as certifications, and that would help with getting other opportunities in government. Then how are you
love
selling
it.
the government? What are your NAICS codes? These are codes, 6-digit codes that the government have that tell them
Mhm.
this is what the category of what you're selling to them. So that's how you're getting ready to be able to do government contracting.
Very good. I love it. And so, guys, so what you just heard is number one is make sure that you actually have a business entity set up and that the structure is there. Make sure that you have a clean business. If you know you haven't filed your taxes in 2 or 3 years, don't put yourself out in a situation, like clean some things up first, right? Also, make sure that you actually have all the appropriate identifiers so that you have an EIN, that you are registered with your Secretary of State, right? The other thing is to make sure that you do get the NAICS code, NAICS, NAICS code, because that is how the government identifies what they're going to buy. They're not going to just say, well, I'm looking for a trainer or a coach. They don't use that type of language. They buy based on the NAICS code and things of that nature. The other thing I want you to be ready for is we're going to transition now to the person who has done all of that. I've gotten the EIN, I got my DUNS, I got my cage, I got my UE, I got all of that, right? I got my capability statement, I have everything set. So now we're going to talk to the person who has all of this ready. And now you're preparing to not only bid, but win a contract, because the intention when you bid is that your hope is that you win something, right? So let's speak to that stage, right? And speak to the stage of, now that you have everything, I'm ready to bid and I'm ready now to win. Unpack that for us.
Great. Well, next, you want to find the opportunities, the right solicitation opportunities that shows that you can do the work. And sam.gov is a great place. You go and you search for contracting opportunities when you get there. And what we said during this time, so we're in Q2 of fiscal year 2024 in government. And during
Mhm.
this time, we have what's called a request for information. Those are coming out like crazy right around this time. You want to go and respond to those. So with our approach, we say, have your capability statement ready, page 1 and page 2. If you have that, you're now showcasing how you can do what you're great at, what your competitive edge is, right? So you want to have
Yes.
that. You want to also have some examples of past performance you've done. If you already have that two-pager and you're now looking at request for information, a lot of them are asking for 3, 4 page capability statements.
Mhm.
You're looking at RFIs, solicit market surveys that are requesting your type of service or good or product that you're selling. You want to be
Right.
able to respond to those. To respond, my number one thing is read the solicitation from
Right.
top
That's
to bottom.
important.
Okay? Don't just
Yes.
read it one time, read it several times. Why? Because you're going to miss stuff every single time. Pay attention to the due dates. There's going to be a due
Yes.
date. He has to go into the government. And if it's due at Friday at 2 o'clock and you send it at 2:01, the government's not going to take it. Okay.
It's done. Well, let me tell you something to Varetta's point. I learned that lesson one good time, and I had a solicitation I prepared, and it was like a 2 p.m. Delivery. That was the due date. And I walked in the door and handed it in. It was 2:01, literally 2:01. And according to their clock. So it's not according to your clock, it's according to their clock. And they did not accept. It's like the time has passed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm here. I couldn't get parking. I finally got parking. I literally ran across your parking lot because I was delivering it. And I'll tell you that 1 minute, according to their clock, it nothing. And I spent hours preparing that. That was a lesson learned. And that lesson taught me how to kind of clean up my strategy of my timing and mapping it out, and when am I going to deliver, especially if you're going to do a mail. Like if you have to mail it, don't try to mail it 2 days before. These mail people are disrespectful. Your mail will sit there and get there 4 or 5 days later. And solicitations will tell you we are not responsible for the delay of the mail people. Get your stuff to us on time. Like it doesn't matter. So to Varetta's point, yes, yes, yes. You cannot mess around with they're not joking. They're not joking at all. So guys, we're hanging out with Miss Varetta Huggins. She is one of our government contracting gurus. She is a subject matter expert. She understands government contracting. And so we are scratching the surface and peeling the layers back for all the stages of getting a contract. In the beginning, now we're focused on in the middle of time. We are bidding. We are getting to the point of submitting and so forth. So Varetta, let me ask you a question. Do you still remember the day that you won your first contract?
Yes, I do.
Tell us that. Tell us what you felt. Tell us what that felt like. Tell us what you had to go through. How many did you submit before you finally won? Like bring us to that moment.
So there's difference. I'm going to talk about the first prime contract because we won several subcontracts, and those are where an existing government contract already have the contract and they're putting your company on it. So those are ways if you're just starting out in government contracting. I use the word corp to corp, where you can
Yeah.
using your resume, you just submit it to them and they see it, and you're the person that needs to be on that contract. They're using your resume to be able to get on that contract.
Mm-hmm.
The first prime contract it was with the Federal Aviation Administration, and I was already working with the client, and an opportunity came up where they were like, "We need you, Varetta," and I was like, oh, "Sure. Well, I'm on the EFAS contracting vehicle, so go find me there, and I can help work everything so that you don't have a lot to do to be able to
Mm-hmm.
get everything, all your documentation through." So worked everything, provided the information to the client, and I was waiting. They had me in waiting mode for at least a week.
The hurry up and wait. That's the hurry up and wait zone.
So during that time, I ended up going to the FAA, and I remember sitting in the seat outside of the um, of the client's office, and I remember going through a verse in my head, just preparing my mind for what's coming next. And I go into the office and there were issues why it was taking this long. And long story short, I left there crying because I was with all the issues. I felt like they're not giving it to me. And
Right.
this was like a Wednesday and
Mhm.
Friday afternoon. I left there crying. Thursday, I think I was in bed the whole Thursday. I was so distraught. And Friday, I checked my inbox and it said you were awarded this contract. I jumped out of
And he's
bed.
like,
What?
what?
And I looked at it and I had just gotten awarded a contract. My mood changed. I was walking on my toes, walking upright, everything different. I had to
Yeah.
hire 5 people for this contract. So it went from a 1-person company to a 5-person. That's how quickly you can grow in government contracting, right?
That's the scale. That's the scale we're talking about. That is the scale we're talking about. Because to your point, what we just talked about was you're getting ready to bid, you're getting ready to win. You want to put those two minds together. It can't be, I'm going to bid and close that. I'm going to win. No, the bid and the win, you want those two to be together. Don't think of them separately because you're bidding with the intention that you win it. When you do win it, you have to be ready to move. Now, we're shifting now, so we're in the stage of I've got this contract. We're going to talk about the compliance pieces of it, because first question I'm going to ask you, is it true that you can lose a contract? They can take the contract away from you in the midst of it. They can, for non-compliance, right? So just because you win it doesn't mean you'll have it indefinitely. So compliance in managing, not only delivering the service, but compliance so you can keep it. So talk about some of the compliance thing that you realize we have got to focus on these things. We stay compliant.
Sure. Well, with the contract, you have a statement of work, and that statement of work have deliverables. There will be a table of deliverables. Those deliverables are due weekly, monthly, quarterly, some case annually. It depends on what they are, and you have to be in compliance to making sure you're delivering. You get a contract, if you ain't delivering, guess what? Government's pulling that contract from you. It's real, and it hurts when it
It
happens.
hurts. It does hurt.
You don't want that to happen. So with that, you want to make sure that you have a program manager who's managing the deliverables of that contract. You also want to make sure that program manager can also be the contract manager who's managing the relationship with the contracting officer and the contracting officer representative, the core. Those relationships are important. If you're not managing them and things are happening and they don't know what the real status is, they can make a decision to pull your contract from you.
Yes.
They might not have all the information. And that's where you providing those status updates, those deliverables, having calls, text, meetings, whatever it is to make sure that you are working with the contracting folks so that they have the information they need, because they have to do reviews and different things on your contract every month to evaluate how you're doing. The other part is the program office. The program office is who your staff is working for. They're the part of the government who they're the ones paying for your contract, and they want to make sure you're delivering on that. So you want to check in with your staff, make sure that they're getting the work done. If the staff is on government site, I can tell you the reason I started my company is when I started working on government site, a lot of times the company didn't, all I knew was they were paying me. Didn't know where they were, never been to their corporate office.
Right.
And I wanted that to be different for my company. So some of the things that we institutionalized were going down there once a month, visiting with them on site, having luncheon with them, talking about the contract. We'll have different things that we would do. But with keeping that contract, the compliance issues is from a tax perspective, from your financial reporting, there are things that you have to do behind the scenes. Because at the end of the day, it's a government contract. The government knows everything that you're doing.
Already. They already know.
IRS is already linked. Okay.
Right.
So make sure you're doing everything legal
Yes.
You might have partners that are telling you different things. Hey, do this. Give me a little bit on the side over here. Be wary of them.
Yes.
At the end of the day, that contract is between you and the government. And so you have to make sure you're in compliance with what is in your contract. Read your contract.
Read it. Read your contract. Yes. So you know.
There are clauses in there that you have to be in compliance with. Read it.
I love it. I love it. So what I want to do is let's talk a little bit about some of the types of contracts. So let's kind of touch briefly on what is a sole source? What is a simplified acquisition, right? What's the difference between an RFP and an RFQ? So let's touch base on some of those briefly so people can get an idea, because all of these are available. All of these are available to someone who's interested. And so I'll start at the beginning and we'll work up to the bigger boys, right? So let's start down there, just touch base on them. So what are they? How does it work? And things like that.
Okay, so I'll start with the solicitation. So an RFQ is a request for quote. And it's normally when the government, they don't really want to know how you're going to do it. They want to know how much it's going to cost them. So quickly, they'll ask you for, give us a quote. We know you can do this. Just tell us how much it's going to cost.
Yes.
And the reason they're doing that is they've got what's called an independent government cost estimate, IGCE, in mind. They had to already decide what their budget is for the work. And they want to see if your quote falls in their budget. Because if it doesn't, they're moving on to the next company whose quote is inside their budget, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so the next one is an RFP, and a request for proposal. It's normally the big one where they might be asking for, I've seen from 4 to 100 pages of technical proposal, right? They want you to do a whole write-up on how you will be responding to their requirements. How can you do the work? Who are your partners? These are all the things you're including in there. What past performance do you have that's similar to this work? What scope have you completed that's similar to this work? All that goes into a technical proposal. And then they're also asking for a price proposal. So a price proposal is where you're laying out, these are the labor categories. So if you're doing products, these are the products, and this is how much it's going to cost. And I can tell you there's a whole science behind that.
Right.
You got to come up with a fully burdened rate. And Natasha knows this.
This is no joke. Listen, if you got to know it. And I'm telling you, and I'm saying this from experience. This is not something you can Google and figure out. Okay. You're not going to get everything you need to figure this out. There are some things that they don't tell you. And you will go out here looking crazy. I remember years ago when I was doing this, your chief visionary was out here looking crazy, burning the midnight oil, putting in hours, submitting contracts, or excuse me, responding to bids, and wondering, well, why didn't I win this? What's wrong with it? And I remember when I first met Varetta and I had showed her, I'm gonna spill my own tea, Varetta. And I showed her what my version of a cost proposal was. And she was just so kind and so humble. But in the back of her mind, I know she was like, is this girl crazy? What kind of foolishness? What type of foolishness is this? Right? Who told you that this was a cost proposal? But she never let it fall out her mouth, y'all. She was so kind and graceful. And she educated me and guided me through. This is what a fully burdened rate, this is what the government wants. And here's the thing, guys, my experience and my depth is in private. I do a lot of private work. So crossing over into government work, it's a different language. And you have to be educated and guided through that because you really don't know. And so learning the difference between sending a proposal to a private company and sending a cost proposal to government, two different things. And I'm telling you, it's a different world. So you guys heard about the RFQs, you heard about the RFPs. Varetta, tell them what a sole source is and a simplified acquisition.
Awesome. Well, let's say now that you've sent in your pricing and your technical proposal, and in some cases, if the government decides, hey, you guys were the only one that bid on this, so guess what? We're going to award it to your company. Yeah. So in some cases, that's called a direct award or sole source award, meaning there's only one company that they're going to award that to. Or a direct award means they're targeting your company to give your company that award. In 2021, we had responded to requests for information, and that's why I'm telling you guys those are key because they're simple. You get them done in less than a week.
Yep.
Capability statement, you submit it, and we submitted one, and I think it was 2 months after we got an email where it was a directed award, meaning that award was coming directly to our company.
Right.
And it still required us to fill out a technical proposal and a price proposal. And so that's where those come in. Because if you're getting a direct award, the government is saying, we're giving it to your company, but now you still have to tell us how you're going to meet our requirements, how you're going to fulfill these deliverables. So create a technical proposal, send in your price proposal, and we're going to give you that award. And we were able to do that in 2021 with one of the government clients that we were working with. Simplified acquisition is if you're just starting out in government contracting and you're like, hey, I want to have a prime contract with a government agency. I know I can do this work. You go in, you talk, whether it's virtually, you're talking to them or you meet them at a conference, and you're now telling them, hey, we can do this work. And they're like, okay, well, how do we get to your company? What is the contracting vehicle where we can pay you? And you're like, I don't understand this. What are you talking about? Varetta told me I just had to set the company up and get my.
That's it.
You tell me. So the government wants to know how can they give you this work, because most of the work that are given, it's given on a contracting vehicle. So if you don't have a contracting vehicle, simplified acquisition is where the government can use kind of like a purchase card. It goes up to, in some cases, 150,000. In some cases, they move that up to 250,000. It's where the government can say, hey, we're simplifying the acquisition strategy to be able to award you this contract quickly without going through the normal 30-day cycle. So you can walk in the door of a government agency and say, hey, we can do the work for you. And they use a simplified acquisition, kind of like a purchase card, to be able to get you that contract quickly. But again, there are limits up to about 50,000.
I love it. All right, guys, there you have it. You have heard it right here inside the Business Lab. You are navigating the world of government contracting more profitably. And here's what I will say to you. Don't try to do this alone. I promise you, Google will not help you. You can get the support that you need. Varetta has an amazing program, very supportive. Your chief visionary has started in that program, went through that program, progressed through that program. And as I told you guys in the beginning, I'm like a tick on a cow's tail with her. She can't shake me loose. She can't shake me loose. So I'm telling you that she does offer the true hands-on support and the guidance that you are looking for. So if this is something that you're interested in and you're like, I really want to explore this, don't hesitate, don't belabor. Go to the link that you see on the screen and you can view the program. You can also schedule some time to have a conversation to see if this will be a good fit for you. So Varetta, I don't know if you have any last words that you want to share with our audience or anything like that. Go ahead as we get ready to wrap up.
Awesome. Well, today we gave you a lot of information, and one of the calculation, I call it a calculation, I love numbers, that I have for you is if you got this information and you don't apply it. So I would say information minus application. All you got at the end of today was information. Yeah. But if you take the information that Natasha and I were able to give you today and you apply it, meaning you go back to your office, you go back to your house, and you start taking some of this information, start working on it, then you will transform not only your life, but your business. And we want you to be in a transformational mode. So today, I just want to leave that, want you to transform yourself and your business in government.
I love it. The possibilities are there. The possibilities are endless. Varela, you have been an amazing, amazing person in my life. I thank you so much. And I'm so honored that you was able to join me here inside the Business Lab. Thank you so very much. Thank you, Dina. I appreciate you for joining us. Dina said, great discussion. Thank you so much. Blessings. I appreciate you joining us here. And remember, guys, this is available on replay. So if you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, what are you waiting for? Go ahead over to YouTube and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Impact Branding Videos. Please like and share this information. This is valuable information. You know, right here, we are constantly dropping these golden nuggets because we want you to be better. I want you to lift the lid off of your thinking. All right. So you have gotten the information you need here. You always know that if you need your chief visionary for strategy, for training, or for speaking, don't hesitate. You can schedule a power chat with me right there. You see the link on screen. And don't forget, next week we're here, same time, same place. Bring a friend with you, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Make sure that they know we are going to be inside the Business Lab. One love, one heart, blessings upon blessings. I will see you next week. Varetta, thank you so much.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.